Today I'm going to talk about how saying less can make you seem more than what you are. By saying less, it's harder for people to make a judgment on you because they don't fully know you or you haven't said enough. They can't fully judge you if you don't give them much to go on. For example, a lot of kings, queens, supervisors, and people that are less accessible use this. Beyonce uses this all the time. She usually doesn't make a remark. Not making a remark, it's harder to judge her because she never gave you a response. The less you say makes it harder for people to say what you want to hear because in actuality, they don't know what you want to hear because they're still trying to gauge you. And when people are trying to gauge you, a lot of times they tell more about themselves just to see what you would respond to. Now let's take an example of two supervisors, right? The first supervisor arrives one morning and he takes down everybody's names. He tells them what is expected of them, and he rarely speaks throughout the day. A lot of times that makes people a little bit more uncomfortable because they're trying to figure out how this person is going to affect their daily life. Is he an asshole? Is he courteous? Who is he, right? So now he's taking up rent in your brain because you're trying to figure out who this person is. Let's take supervisor number 2. He shows up. He's more approachable. He's more friendly. He's joking around. And you happen to hear a conversation about his home life and him sleeping on the couch. Now you're sitting there and you got something to judge him on now. Oh, well, if he's sleeping on the couch, he can't even control his own family life. How is he going to control us? You understand? The more you know about a person makes them seem more common. Believe it or not, silence makes people feel uncomfortable. They need to know things. You end up taking up rent or space in a person's head. And like my father always said, if you think about a person, once they walk out the door, you may be in trouble because your mind starts playing tricks on you. Answers that you don't have, your mind will start filling in the blank. It's like a job interview. So say you go on a job interview, you get dressed up, and you're sitting there, they're asking you questions. They don't tell you if you got the job or not. And you spend the rest of the day trying to figure out, well, he moved his hands to the left. The lady nodded when I said this. I made her laugh when this happened. And you can't quite gauge it because you don't quite know what to expect. That's the same thing when you're dealing with a person that hasn't said enough. There was a king, King Louis. King Louis rarely ever spoke. So when he did speak, it was very important. But most of the time, he would mumble a few words. So when it was time for him to make a decision, he would hear two sides. He would have them do all their research, and his only mumble would be, I will get back to you. A few weeks later, he would give his decision by implementing it. And everyone thought he was the smartest person. Why though? He barely ever said more than a few words. They say the more you speak, the more chances of you saying something dumb. We're not always at our best every single day. The good thing about always being mysterious is no one can predict your actions. The less you speak, when you finally do speak, it makes it more important. A lot of times, the more accessible somebody is to you, the less we value what they say. I've seen it happen numerous times where someone is skilled in a particular field or even learned a lot of lessons. But because the person closest to you and knows all your flaws and faults, they no longer really respect your judgment. And yet someone that you don't know respects your judgment more. That's like when a friend of ours go into business. A lot of times we're like, you know what? They don't know what they're doing. And then you support a guy or a girl that made one good advertisement and we don't know them. Accessibility. That was my quick words for today. Like, comment, and subscribe.